Hey guys, I'm Sam Crack, and it's time we time our Supercharged Range Rover, which was delivered to me out of time. I'm pretty sure that caused a very bad time for the previous owner when they instructed them that it would cost over $20,000 to fix this car. The job that we're doing today books over 30 labor hours at the dealership, so it's a very timely one. And if I had a few bucks for every time I just said time, well, I'd have enough money to buy one of those boutique brand set of headphones. But I would never ever do that when I could get a set of these Cove noise canceling wireless Bluetooth ones that feel incredible and sound just as good.
Cove's Bluetooth wireless earphones feature super soft memory foam ear cushions combined with 12-hour battery life, which will keep you listening all day, noise-free, and in comfort. It also has a built-in microphone, so taking a call is just one tap away.
For a good time, go right here or click the link in the description box below. Make sure you type in code SC65 and you're going to get 65% off a set of these. I'm sure you're going to enjoy your time with them. I'd like to give a huge thanks to Cove for sponsoring this video. Nick.
That?
I caught you in violation of our shoe policy here. We only repair cars with original MSRPs of $100,000+ in flip-flops. That's how I did the Ferrari. That's how we're gonna do this Range Rover. So I got you a pair right here. Not sponsored.
Awesome.
He's got bed shoes on. Like, what was he thinking? So this car in stages has been sitting outside for about a month, and you could see even with just the cylinder heads off, which the car sat in the barn predominantly with the cylinder heads off for a little bit of time, only a week or two, all that rust buildup, all that grime that's there, that could potentially score the block if we don't clean it up before putting everything back together. So Nick has taken the liberty on this side. He's already cleaned things. 3 of these cylinders, we're gonna rotate the crank around, get this piston down and clean around there. But it's very important that we make sure everything is super clean before it's all back together. That will assure that everything mates up top here, and again, that we don't damage the block. So let's go ahead, clean this side up. And then Nick, we gotta get these cylinder heads on, man. You're only here for another 30 minutes. You think we can finish it in, I don't know, 25?
15, we'll be all right. You want to clean out the bores of the head bolts because of things like this. Coolant and oil will get down in there. The head gasket.
So it's a double layer, huh?
Triple. There is,
Wow.
3 layers, multi-layer steel, a little bit of gasket right in here. It's the impression between the head and the block that seals it.
Now the trick is getting the head on to where it doesn't kink or bind anything here.
Yeah.
It just kind of seats nicely.
All right, let's start slamming head bolts in this thing, man.
Yeah, so the cylinder head is in place, and after Nick kind of positions these head bolts, which will serve a little bit as pins to keep everything in the right place, what I want to do is actually move my camera down a little bit and just make sure there's no bound up gasket or anything like that. You can see from the top end here, it's real nice where it sits in place. Really exciting. The first cylinder head is in place, and now we're getting ready to do what it says on your short, torque it to spec. We're not going to use a tool on your shirt. We've got a legit digital, yeah, torque wrench. But what's the sequence? We looked it up in the manual.
So at first it's 20 Newton meters, then you set it to 35 Newton meters, turn each bolt 90 degrees, and 120 degrees after that.
All right, the nice thing is he was just showing me this has all of those settings built in here. So
I'm on Newton meters right now, and if I press this, I can switch it over to do angles.
Cool. All right, show us how it's done.
And if you watch this, it'll actually light up and tell you as I'm going.
Now this is just the first torquing. And you do this kind of what? Just to seat things in place?
Yeah, this is just to make sure the head is sitting nice and level.
That's super cool. I gotta get one of these. What does this cost? Like $1,800?
$550.
I was gonna say that's almost how much I paid for this car. A little bit more. So yeah, this is just to get things snug in place. You could see Nick is doing everything in a certain sequence. And again, you can find it all in the manual, but since you've done a dozen or two of these jobs, you probably know this by heart at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. Once you do it about 5 times, you understand and you remember it. Just becomes muscle memory at some point.
I noticed there's like a little battery indicator in the corner, like a cell phone. Do you charge it with a USB or something?
Nope, it runs on 3 AA batteries. Set to 90 degrees. We're gonna give them
90 degrees.
Yep. So, oh wait. Bring it all the way up against the cowl first.
Okay, like
Yeah,
that.
there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Pull. It'll tell you when. You'll see it go
Yeah.
yellow. When it goes green is when you stop.
I see why you needed me to put it all the way against the cowl.
Yep.
Right there's 90 degrees.
There you go.
And it vibrates too.
Yeah.
Jeez, what a cool. Gotta get one of these.
Top of the line, man. I honestly could not do my job without that.
Yeah, you having to make sure that the job is done right the first time, I can imagine.
Oh yeah.
All right, one last one, and then we turn it up a notch
To
120.
120. Nope, just 120. That's it. Yeah.
Too easy.
That's it.
Too
Then
easy, this job. Kidding. Passenger side head is torqued in place. We're gonna move now to the driver's side. The head gasket is sitting on the dowel pins. We're getting ready to go and put it in just like we did this side. Really straightforward, just to make our lives easier. We do it with the exhaust manifold in place. But on this side, we actually had to put the exhaust manifold back on, because if you remember, we took it off because this is the head that went to the machine shop. Now, just to give you guys an idea of what a cylinder head rebuild costs. Remember, there's 2 in this car, but we only needed one of them done because we only jumped time on one side. I had to get all of the new valves. Those all came from FC Piero. I want to say each valve ran between $7 and $10 a piece. There's 16 of them per head. Again, we only needed 16. They then cut new valve seats. So where the valve sits in here, it's very important that they're sealed in the head here. When the valve comes down and it hit the cylinder, it bent the valve, then it comes back up and it kind of chews up around here, and then your valve will not seal properly. You'll have bad compression. So they cut new valve seats, and then they resurface the head. That's a pretty standard job at a machine shop. All of that ran $300, again, plus the price of the valves. They also calibrated this. Now, I'm not sure what that means. So Nick, do you know what that means when they say they calibrated the head?
that is when you adjust the clearance between the camshaft and the valve follower, or the tappet or bucket, depends on what you're working on. From there, if you get the tolerance too low, what's gonna end up happening is you might end up risking hanging a valve down, and it's gonna just stay open when it's not supposed to, lose you compression. Your motor's just not gonna function. You will get a misfire. If you get it if it's too big of a tolerance, it's gonna start making a noise. You'll get kind of a tappy little slapping noise in there.
In other words, they check it and make sure the thing's gonna work right whenever it's all done. So let's go ahead, let's reassemble this. Let's throw in our new O2 sensor. Why is that one snipped at the end? No, I won't ask you about that, Nick. And then let's go put it in the car. It's time for our time. So just to give you an idea of where we are, here is the catalytic converter. We move a little bit more. There's our drive shaft. And if you kind of look around here, you see this little guy right up in here, that kind of oblong oval shaped piece. That's a special tool that is part of Nick's timing kit for this engine. Right here's a crankshaft position sensor. All Nick did was unbolt that. I was above turning the crank, and you gotta line it up so they make it to where this tool fits in, and now it's locked. The crank, Nick, are we at top dead center then, I'm guessing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're at top dead center. So now we're gonna go from above, up there. We're gonna time from above. Once everything is in time, we put all the timing components back, and I think it's downhill from there. Get the new chain here.
New chain, new bolts, new gears.
And then you can see this one says E, and now it's
and that's an intake. And right up in here is actually the timing marks once you have them set. Sometimes there's two. Yep, there you go. Depending on what bank you've got them on. And those marks are gonna end up lining up with the marks. Let's quit messing with that. With the marks on the chain, there's a yellow mark for the camshafts. There's two. And then there's one for the crankshaft. Hey Sam.
Yeah.
You got a mirror? I'm getting ready to set the time on this.
Yeah. I think I got a mirror. Will this work?
Perfect. You're just in time. I'm about to set the time.
Perfect.
Let's make sure that locks.
Nick is putting all our timing components in place. He's run our cam gears on the driver's side, the chain. He's just setting everything up, getting ready to put it all in time, and then we'll move over to the passenger side. Now these cam gears, I thought this was insane when I heard that we had to replace these. These are wear items according to Land Rover when it comes to doing this job. And Nick explained that they have oil passages inside that get gummed up. So to do a complete job, so there's no failures after the job is done, even though there was a failure on this one at a dealership, they recommend you change them, along with a slew of other stuff. I thought we'd just get like a chain, a tensioner, a guide, like Nick's putting in a guide right now. But no, you need a ton of parts for this job, and that's what makes it, I'd say, substantially more expensive than your typical timing job. Would you say substantially more expensive than your typical time? Yeah.
Substantially.
Okay. And so there are literally new parts everywhere. This car is going to have a completely refreshed engine, and I want to thank the guys at FCP Euro for that, because when I told them I was doing a 5.0 Land Rover timing job, they sent everything down to spark plugs. They knew that we needed the gears, the belts. Obviously, there's a chain right there. Every single gaskets I would have had no clue to order. That's one of the things that can hold you up the most during a job, is you get a bunch of parts and then you need more parts. They sent everything, and down to these tiny little O-rings, which I hope Nick knows where they go, because I have no clue where any of these go. Really everything. And on top of it, you want to hear something crazy, something that I guarantee you've never heard. Have you ever heard of a lifetime warranty on any Rover parts? Like, never, right?
No, we don't even do that much.
If anything fails ever in the future, this engine is literally going to be like lifetime guaranteed with all the new FCP Euro parts. So we basically have a lifetime guaranteed Land Rover engine, given that it's one of the timing components that fail. But we do have to do the labor ourselves. So I'll just have you back, man. No problem.
Yeah,
no sweat, no sweat.
It's always fun. Always a blast.
These come with a pin in them.
Yep.
It's like we were sticking an Allen key in ours to show it off before. This is how they come. Don't pull it. Don't pull it.
No, I'm pulling it so I can install it. You gotta make it flush with air.
All right, I thought you were gonna, jeez, this guy. So this is the critical part here. This is one of the parts that was messed up before. And Nick is going to bolt the tensioner in place here. And once it's in place, and then once it's timed, is it timed already?
Yeah.
It's timed already.
Yeah, look at
wow, you're quick. You pull the pin, and we should see this kind of just tighten up a bit. That's what I would think. And we'll hear a click. And if we don't hear that click, it's coming back out, and we're gonna redo it.
Yes.
So look, there is our first tensioner on the driver's side. That's really exciting. This is the side that we put the most effort into with the whole new, brand new looking rebuilt head. And so go ahead, tighten those down. I like how I'm telling you how to do the job. Like I've done it 2 or 3 times before.
Hey man, you gotta direct me what you need done for your video.
There we go. All right, go ahead, pull that pin. I heard a noise.
Yeah, I can see that the ram's extended. We're good to go. These cams kind of wiggled a little bit. A little bit of tension there.
Hold on, where's the ram extend? Oh, I see it right there. It's right there. Cool, yeah, it's touching.
Yep.
You got one side timed.
One side is timed.
Nick is getting ready to time this side. While this is still all open and exposed, before we start putting everything back, I'm gonna install our coolant crossover pipe. This was another part provided that is a common failure point. And so we got the new updated piece. This should last a long time. And it only installs in 4 bolts, but it's nearly impossible to get to with everything intact. So I'm gonna hop back there and throw it in place.
Sam, your motor's timed. It's ready to go.
Now, did you check? We checked this side tensioner. Could you imagine if we did the job right? I should say Nick did the job right, but this one locked up when he pulled the pin.
That
Let's
would be
see.
horrible. Let's see.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
can
there
see
it
it's
is.
touching.
The ram's extended right there.
Cool. So from here,
So we've got timing covers. We're gonna put the timing covers back on this thing.
all up front, right? That's all up front.
Up front.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna remove all the timing tools out of the motor. We've got to do those exhaust elbows back there. Then valve covers, injectors, spark plugs, coil packs, supercharger, belts, fluids. Fire it.
After you're done repairing Land Rovers, you should seek a career as the price is right. Ooh, the hand. You're very good with those hands.
The next Vanna White, man.
Ran out to get some lunch, came back, and Nick sewed up most of this engine bay. Look at the brand new valve covers in place. It's cool to have new valve covers because there's new PCV diaphragms in here. Those are prone to breaking. So there are so many new components in here. It's going to be awesome. Nick, I'll let you eat, man. I'm going to do what I know how to do, and that's put spark plugs in.
Those couple quarts of oil that we just put in, that's just gonna help us flush any remaining garbage that's inside the engine. Now Nick's already gotten down under here where he's gonna remove his timing tool, reinstall our crankshaft position sensor, and then a few other things. We got elbows for the exhaust manifolds, and just gotta drain that oil out. Once we're done down here, lower it for the final time, and all the rest of the work is gonna be up top. A lot of water right there, dude. Oh. Nick, what'd I tell you, Nick? Wow, that's coolant.
Coolant and water right there.
We're so close, so close. We still even have daylight. That's how much work we got done today. Nick, gotta give you a huge thanks, but
Thank
you noticed a few things here, specifically the one that failed to come with the car, the one that we failed to see, we were missing. What's going on here? Why do we have a hole?
There's a missing camshaft actuator.
Yeah, and so remember, the timing cover was off on this side when the car was delivered. So when they pulled it, they left this piece somewhere that's not in the truck. And then we come over here. This is not hooked up. Totally my fault. Why couldn't you? Well, I could see why you couldn't get this in place. When you buy these factory molded hoses, especially one from the dealership, they fit, right?
Yeah, they fit.
And
First time, guaranteed.
Yeah, kind of like when you order them from FCP Euro, and this is the last part. So I broke, there's like a little plastic piece. It fits right in here. Here's the plastic piece. Goes right in here. I broke that off, so I ordered this entire hose assembly. I went and looked. I ordered it third party, so that's why you're better off a lot of times with the OEM parts. Didn't fit. And then last, messing around with the supercharger. That was your fault.
Yeah, that was actually my fault. There's the vacuum line on the back.
No, it's not your fault. It gets really hot in this motor, especially because the supercharger is the topmost part. The heat rises, and it was just some brittle plastic in the back. Broke.
And unfortunately, I was the last person to touch it. And it disintegrated. It's a little solenoid on the back. I don't know. It couldn't be more than, I would assume, $10, but this is Land Rover. So we'll assume it's about $200.
Yeah, thanks. All right. So $300 for that, $200 for that. That is a fortune. It literally is 160 bucks.
Like, yeah.
But we're gonna get it done. We're gonna get the parts, and once we have them, this is another hour and a half. Come on.
Come on, man. With the filming and everything, 4 hours.
Really?
Yeah, you take forever.
We're really in the home stretch when it comes to the mechanical repairs on our Range Rover, whether it ends up taking us 3, 4, 5 hours to complete. The next time we work on the mechanics, we'll be doing its first test start since this car died. I'm really excited for that. If you are as well, be sure to hit that like button. But remember, we've got to button up that front end that got destroyed when this car was taken off. The delivery truck, I've gotten a good glance of what everything needs in the front end here. I've already started a little bit of disassembly, and I've ordered all those parts so we don't have any more downtime. And if you want to see any updates to the Range Rover project or any other projects like the Ferrari or any new projects coming to the channel, go ahead and check out my Instagram where you'll find some new stuff there before anything goes live here on YouTube. And I got to give a huge thanks to each and every one of you for watching today. I'll catch you very soon.